Hello, everybody. I'm Ian Nicholas, joined by two JV basketball players from the new Canaan Rams team, Brendan Tiscornia and Matthew Ronsky. We're here live from the new Canaan High School gym on a Monday night in March, which means it's not March Madness, but it is D3 CIAC basketball. The new Canaan Rams, fresh off their D4 win last year, have moved up to D3, and they're going to look to go all the way now in their first year here. I'm joined obviously by two players who know this basketball team a lot better than I do. We're up against the Bloomfield Warhawks, a team that they have not played really in a long time, at least not in the 4 years that Coach Melzer has been here. And Brendan, I'm going to go to you first. You know, last year they played a couple teams, St. Bernard and Griswold, that they didn't have a lot of comfortability with, but they didn't have a lot of problems with them. So what do you think is going to be, how is the game plan in practice in a sense for, how do you prepare for a team you don't know much about?
Well, first of all, it's the same thing. Both sides. There's no familiarity with New Canaan, but you got to pay closer attention to the team's warm-up, and that's how you have to get your impression of them, because there's not an extensive scouting report like there will be for your conference opponents, and any edge you can get on your opponent is crucial.
And then, Matthew, I'll kick it to you. When I was talking to Coach Melzer before the game, he mentioned that Bloomfield is probably the most athletic team that New Canaan has played all year. And, you know, obviously this is not an FCIAC team in Bloomfield. This is a CCC team from the middle of the state up in Hartford. So how do you think New Canaan will match up against them athletically?
You know, New Canaan, I feel we're more athletic than we were last year. And some of these players, like a Leo Magnus or a Christian Sweeney, we see more athleticism than we did last year. So I believe that we're honestly better off than we were last year. Although they might be more athletic than us here, I think that our skills and our discipline as a team will make us able to get this win.
So we'll kick it to the starting lineups, and then obviously the national anthem, and then we'll bring you to tip off.
Number 13, Anthony Thompson. And number 23 is Kyle Barrow. Head coach of Bloomfield is Kevin Moses. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet tonight's starting lineup for the New Canaan Rams. Number 12, Christian Sweeney. Number 20, Leo Mangus. Number 33, Jonathan Hall. Number 5, Alex Gibbons. And number 10, Ryan McAleer. Head coach for the Rams is Danny Melzer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of the Star Spangled Banner.
So it should be a very exciting game, obviously, as I
We're
mentioned.
going to try. Can I have attention, please, ladies and gentlemen? An important announcement. New Canaan High School and the FCIAC promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and fans.
As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, New Canaan, the reigning D4 winners, defeating Granby Memorial up in Mohegan Sun last March, and I was lucky enough to go up there and cover that game in a very magical moment for the New Canaan basketball program. And even though New Canaan hasn't had the kind of success this year that they were looking to have following a 20-win championship-winning season, you know, this game against Bloomfield, you know, a very athletic team, but, you know, there's a very good chance, who knows, maybe they can make another run at it. New Canaan is the 13th seed out of 26, so literally middle of the pack. Meanwhile, Bloomfield is the 20 seed. Bloomfield, a 10-10 squad from the Central Connecticut Conference, over an hour-and-a-half ride down here to New Canaan. The starting lineups were already mentioned. At the tip for New Canaan, the 6'7" John Hall, number 33 in the white, and for the Warhawks, Bloomfield's number 13, Anthony Thompson.
And you know, Ian, after that great loss against the Richfield last week in the FCIAC playoffs, New Canaan's really out here trying to make up for it, you know. It's like this is a pretty big game for them. After not having very much success in the FCIAC playoffs, they're going to look to have some tonight in the state playoffs.
I agree with you, Matthew. It's definitely difficult to come into playoff time off a tough loss against a rival, but that's what New Canaan's going to have to do tonight against Bloomfield.
New Canaan wins the tip, and they have a bit of a size advantage considering Bloomfield's biggest player is 6'4" in Anthony Thompson. Christian Sweeney open for three, and he gets things started off right for New Canaan, gets the open look and splashes it in. Bringing it up for Bloomfield, Mike Collins swishes it to Hargrove, and they're moving it back and forth between the two Bloomfield guards.
2-3 look from the Rams.
Collins puts up the floater. Mike Collins misses. On the second chance look was Kyle Barrow. He couldn't get it to go. Leo Magnus got it back, and here's McAleer pushing the pace.
Yeah, like you said, Brennan, that's a weird look for New Canaan, who usually sticks with a man defense. And that 2-3, this might be something different from head coach Danny Melzer.
Leo Magnus uses all of his 6'6" length there to get inside in transition and get the bucket, his first of the game. New Canaan already up 5-0 within the first minute. Three ball is up and nowhere close for Eli Hargrove. New Canaan, another rebound. Actually, the shot falls on the putback attempt.
Coach Melzer mentioned before the game, Thompson's an excellent offensive rebounder, and we're seeing it early on here with the early putback.
We saw no box out there on number 13, Anthony Thompson. He just was wide open for that rebound.
Gibbons spots up for three, and it rattles out, and it will head for Bloomfield. So that bucket for Bloomfield was from Anthony Thompson, number 13, their best player, one of their two captains. And I was talking to Dennis Mulcahy earlier today, and he mentioned this is the best offensive rebounder we're gonna see all year. He gets most of his buckets on the inside, as he did there.
Now less than 2 minutes into the game, the Rams are going to go small ball, replacing Gibbons and Magnus with Aaron Fishman and Colin Russo.
Putting up another shot is Hargrove. Getting the rebound again is Thompson. And there's a foul on the floor. It's going to be on New Canaan. Christian Sweeney will check out early after fouling. And they're going to check Leo Magnus. And Hank Poley, the senior captain of the game, John Hall, will check out alongside of Sweeney as Bloomfield will inbound.
Some quick substitutions here from Danny Melzer. That could be a strategy here to confuse the Bloomfield defense.
Thompson kicks it out to Hargrove. Hargrove resets on Aaron Fishman. Now in the game, Jawan Thompson for Bloomfield. Back to Hargrove. Hargrove spots up with a man in his face on the mid-range jumper. The pull-up shot is no good. McAleer, using his blazing speed in transition, nearly loses the ball. Colin Russo pick, and they're going to call Leo Magnus as he looked to get it to Aaron Fishman. Coach Melzer told me also that they expect to play Fishman more than they did in the FCIAC game against Richfield because there's a lot of guards on this Bloomfield team. They play with a lot of ball handlers. They need Fishman out there to defend. Here's Thompson, Jawan Thompson, that is, number 11. Getting it to Evans, who gets the screen and takes the step back mid-range jumper and splashes it in. His first bucket of the game for number 2, Mike Collins. McAleer blows by Collins here before slowing it down. Gets switched, goes right back at it, and draws the foul on Bloomfield. It's going to be on number 11, Javon Massey.
McAleer doing a great job of using his retreat dribble there, able to open up the defense and open up a lane for himself to get to the basket.
And McAleer was just named second team. McAleer was just named for the all-defensive team, you know, one of the best defensive guards in the FCIAC. And a lot of people expected him to potentially be an all-FCIAC favorite, but he hasn't had the all-around season statistically. But regardless, a really great player for New Canaan this year.
The stats may not be there, but the way he controls this offense, he's the quarterback, and he's the one that makes this whole thing run.
Here's McAleer off the Mike Evans miss, getting it to Alex Gibbons. Gibbons' three is open, and a rare air ball from the all-FCIAC third-team selection. It goes out of bounds, and it will stay in New Canaan possession, out of bounds on Jawan as Aaron for the Rams, and Brandon Seachin also in the game.
And already 8 players have gotten action less than halfway through this first quarter.
Here's Gibbons again, open for 3, lasering it down low to Magnus, who pump fakes and then misses down low. Good defense from the Warhawks. On the other end, it's Eli Hargrove getting it in the corner to Jawan Thompson, and he splashes it in as Bloomfield takes their first lead of the game, 7-6. Here's Fishman now, slowing it down on Thompson and resetting. Gibbons in the post, up against Hargrove before getting it to Hank Poley. Poley bounce passes Seachin, spots up for 3, doinks around a little bit before finally rimming out. Thompson with the rebound. Hargrove in transition. And Brandon Seachin's going to get called for the foul.
The struggles offensively for New Canaan early. They haven't been able to get any second chance shots. And
yeah, like you said, Brendan, these three-pointers just aren't falling right now for New Canaan. I mean, after Gibbons just missed 2 in a row. But here we go.
Seachin with the steal, the spin, and not the finish. Poley can't get the rebound. But Kyle Barrow for Bloomfield can. Fishman then gets the steal, puts up the shot, and gets fouled by Barrow. And Coach Melzer stressed to me before the game that he needed his team to get off to a hot start. And after an early lead, they've lost it. And this is probably not the start he wanted or expected from his squad. But he has a lot of confidence in Aaron Fishman. He said he'd play him a lot more tonight. Obviously, the best free throw shooter on the team after that Stanford performance last year. He drills home the first one as John Hall will check into the game alongside Christian Sweeney. Coach Melzer also told me about that 3 days after the FCIAC game. He gave the players off, and he says it's probably the freshest his team has been and the healthiest his team has been since the start of the year, because a lot of guys on the team obviously dealing with nagging injuries, including McAleer and Gibbons.
yeah, well, after a tough loss like that, you really need to hit the restart button, and you want to get that bad loss out of your system.
Losing his dribble. Barrow gets fouled.
They call a blocking foul on Christian Sweeney, though.
So it won't be free throws. That Alex Gibbons block does not count, as Ryan McAleer checked out early, but he'll check back in a moment. And you mentioned to me before the game, Brendan, an interesting point. Last year, the Rams in D4 didn't really have any of those star pieces. You know, Matt Brand was an all-FCIAC third-team selection, and Luke Rambuya was an all-defensive player. And it's the same situation this year. Alex Gibbons, a phenomenal player, missed a good chunk of the year with injury, as we'll get a second look at that foul here. And then you also got McAleer, the all-FCIAC defender. So it proves that you don't always need those superstar pieces, even though when he's healthy, Gibbons is a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Gibbons could be a first team if he wasn't hurt for like 9 games, was it?
The Rams were 9-3 when he was in the lineup and 3-5 without, so 8 games to be precise. But still, the effect was felt.
I mean, 8 games without your best player, it really hurts you.
Kyle Barrow goes 1 for 2 from the line as he luckily gets that second one to fall. Gibbons deep 3 on a spot-up attempt. It's a bit strong, and the rebound goes to Mike Collins as he pushes the pace.
You can really
pulls up for the jumper.
You really see this Rams team struggling, as usually they're able to knock down those threes with Gibbons, but right now it's just not falling.
Gibbons is wide open in another shot, as you mentioned, Matt, that doesn't fall. A rough start for number 5, Alex Gibbons. He had 17 in their loss to Richfield. He was really the Rams' lone bright spot, and tonight he just hasn't been able to get it going. A foul is called on the floor on Eli Hargrove with a mismatch inside against Leo Magnus. He had the foul to prevent that bucket.
Yeah, that's a good foul if you're Hargrove. If that ball gets to Magnus, 9 times out of 10 it's going in.
And the pass is deflected off the inbound by Thompson. Anthony Thompson, that is. Fishman with a nice first step, but he's short on the layup. And then he falls before getting it up to Hargrove. Here is Bloomfield, puts up the floater, and it rims out. A lot of missed shots from both sides early on. Here's Anthony Thompson, puts up the post fadeaway, barely had control of the ball.
That's 3 offensive rebounds for Thompson in this first quarter of action.
Yeah, you can really see how athletic they are. I mean, as you said in the beginning of the game, Ian, this is a very athletic team, and if New Canaan's not going to do anything about this offensive rebounding, then I think this could be a problem today.
Jawan Thompson will check in for the first time tonight. Number 11 was actually Javon Massey. That's my mistake. As Aaron Fishman will inbound the McAleer. Leo Magnus got the rebound on that last possession and was fouled. He was pushed out of bounds by Bloomfield. Here's McAleer on the drive. He just chucks it up and puts it in. Looking for the foul as he hits the deck, but he didn't get it. And here's Mike Evans on the other end for the Warhawks. Good pass down low to Thompson, and Jawan Thompson puts it in. His first bucket of the night. With just under 2 minutes left to go in quarter number 1, New Canaan still trails by 1 to
Bloomfield did a good job of forgetting what happened on the defensive end and turning it right around in transition.
McAleer to Gibbons, again another spot up 3, and this time he finally sinks it after a couple early misses. Hargrove to Evans.
And now if you're New Canaan, you better hope that keeps up.
And a bad miss from the corner from Javon Massey. On the other end, it's Aaron Fishman, and another tray ball for New Canaan. As head coach Kevin Moses will call his first time out of the game for Bloomfield as New Canaan retakes the lead by 5, 16-11.
And you can really hear the roar of that crowd after that shot right there. They are very hyped up after those 2 threes in a row.
Coach Melzer expected a big crowd tonight, and he got it for another state game.
Well, New Canaan has the size and scheme to be successful, but when their 3-point shots are falling, forget about it. That's a difficult team no one wants to play.
And even in that loss to Richfield in the CIAC game, you saw in spurts the New Canaan team get very hot, and Coach Melzer told me, you know, when they're extremely hot, I just let them go. You don't mess with anything that's good. His words, and, you know, he tries to control the tempo here and there. Occasionally you'll see him call a timeout when they get hot, Brendan, but, you know, when this team can get hot, especially shooting the ball, they're extremely hard to stop, and they're really a different team than their 12-8 record would suggest.
Well, you don't want to let a shooter see the ball go through the hoop, or else he's going to keep on making shots.
Now in the game for Bloomfield, number 15, Javen Foster, that is. Here's Mike Evans on the drive. McAleer, the all-defensive selection, nearly gets the steal, and then scrapping for the loose ball, he's called for the push with 1:02 left in the quarter. That's his first of the game and New Canaan's 4th team foul. So we'll stay in Bloomfield possession. Here's Hargrove, who's played the entirety of this one, and open for the 3 is Mike Evans. He misses. And another offensive rebound for Bloomfield.
And New Canaan really playing out on these shooters. They don't want any 3-pointers going up right now.
Kicking it again to an open Mike Collins, and this time he gets it to go. He's up to 5 points on the night. Both off jump shots. Bloomfield right back in it, 2-point game. 28 seconds left. New Canaan might hold for the last shot. John Hall with a nice screen to get McAleer to the baseline. Here's Fishman to Magnus. Good ball movement. Not a great take, though, through traffic for Leo Magnus, but it will stay in New Canaan possession out on Bloomfield.
It's a lot of contact there, but no call on the play.
Corner, Gibbons, 3 off the inbound, and it is short from the left wing with 10 seconds left. Here's Hargrove, slowing it down, dancing with McAleer, nearly out of bounds. Deep 3 to beat the buzzer. It's no good from Mike Collins. And I don't want to say a surprisingly competitive, but a little bit more of a competitive game than we expected. At the end of the first, both teams playing extremely well on both sides of the ball. New Canaan leads 16-14 in the D3 first round game in the CIAC playoff.
Well, what I've seen from Bloomfield is that they're a very scrappy team. They're a team that they hit the floor, they get offensive rebounds, and they're always getting in there, reaching for steals.
Yeah, you know, also for New Canaan right now, it's not looking good from the three-point end, especially for Alex Gibbons right now. Usually the three-pointers are really what keep them going, but right now it does not seem to be falling. Neither for New Canaan or also for Bloomfield, who's chucked up a bunch of shots.
But you do have to give Bloomfield credit. I mean, they are a scrappy team, and it's almost like they're a ball magnet with the way they are offensive rebounding-wise. Now, Brendan, you made a joke earlier saying if you're a good offensive rebounding team, you might not be the best shooting team, as Matt just alluded to. But they really do know how to get to the ball and even draw fouls, in a sense, you know, when they're fighting for it.
Dennis Mulcahy and Brandon Seachin will be in the game to start the second quarter for the Rams.
Mulcahy, the junior, started earlier in the year, or played more in the year, I should say, at the beginning when Hank Pulley was out with a knee injury, but has played less since he returned to the lineup, but a valuable piece of the future for his team. Here's Javon Massey taking it baseline and dumping it off to Foster, swinging it around to Hargrove before he resets. Gets the screen. And a long possession developing here for the Warhawks, putting up the floater. It's a little short, and then getting fouled underneath is Javon Foster. That's going to be on Dennis Mulcahy, his first, with 7:31 left in the first half. And an interesting stat about Coach Melzer is he's yet to win an FCIAC playoff game, but is also 6-3 in state play, which is an interesting twist there. But obviously going 4-0 last year, Matt, on that magical run to the state win. Looking to add here.
Yeah, that was a pretty magical season. The first state playoff win for New Canaan in a long, long time. And my brother actually played on that team, and it was really cool to see them finally win a game and bring basketball back to New Canaan, honestly.
As you can hear from the crowd, it's certainly back as they look to win.
They're going to call a 5-second violation on Alex Gibbons.
So we'll head the other way. New Canaan has played a bit sloppy early on, a travel here and there, a turnover here and there.
When you're up at the top of the key like that, you got to create motion, you got to pass, you got to make a drive or an attempt to score. That rule is in place because there is no shot clock. They want to prevent people from just holding the ball up at the top.
Collins to Hargrove. That's been the 1-2 punch so far tonight offensively for Bloomfield. Here's Massey. Hargrove gets the screen from Foster, working on Fishman. Goes to his left. Corner to Jawan Thompson. And then getting called for the travel is Mike Collins. McAleer to inbound.
Manny Flores and Anthony Thompson will check into the game for the Warhawks.
And Thompson didn't do a whole lot of scoring early on, but he definitely got a lot of key rebounds for his team. And he was a big factor in their near upset of Windsor earlier on in the year. Not Windsor, excuse me, Tongland, the #1 seed in the D3 tournament, which they only lost to by 1 point. And Thompson was a big factor down the stretch in that one. So we should see him get hot later.
They're going to call a foul down low. a hold on Eli Hargroves.
So that Aaron Fishman 3 obviously waved off. As you'll have Gibbons to inbound.
And number 30, Shane Bell checks in.
And Bloomfield has a pretty deep bench, too. They've really no hesitation from head coach Kevin Moses to pull his best players out there. Mulcahy to Sechin. Gibbons again, another look from the corner, and again he'll miss. And Aaron Fishman out-hustles fellow number 2 Mike Collins for the rebound. As McAleer resets with Thompson on him. Mulcahy back to McAleer. Driving to his left. And a rough miss inside. Rebound from Gibbons. Good pump fake. And he draws the foul. Heading to the line for 2 as Hank Poley looks to check it for New Canaan. And I remember, you know, I'm not the best basketball player, guys, here. I will admit that. I used to go to the Y with Dennis, and Dennis always said, you got to go up with that pump fake. And, you know, whenever New Canaan's busted it out this year, Brendan, it's worked. It worked for Leo Magnus, and you see Gibbons get work down there.
No matter how tall you are, there will always be guys willing to jump with you. But if you catch them off guard, it's much easier to finish.
I mean, Dennis told me to use it, and I'm a whopping, 5'7". But he'll use it all the time. And
Ian, you're being too generous.
I'm being too generous. All right. Here's Bloomfield swinging it around. Still only down 3 in a very defensive second quarter, which has only seen 3 combined points from both teams. It was 16-14 at the end of the first. It's 18-15 now. Corner 3 from Bloomfield is good. Checking into the game for the first time tonight is Shane Bell, and he makes the most of his early opportunity, knotting the game up at 18 points apiece. McAleer slowing it down, getting it to Sechin. Sechin to Gibbons, who nearly loses it with a mismatch. McAleer threading the needle to Poley before getting it out to Colin Russo, back in the game for New Canaan, the senior guard. And a miscommunication there, and Coach Melzer's not happy with that one. As
Well, it's simply been sloppy play to start this game.
I guess it's been a little bit too much time off for New Canaan. They haven't played since obviously last Saturday and the loss to Richfield. So a week and 2 days, and they've come out looking a bit rusty. Thompson inbound, and he just floats it up and gets it in to Shane Bell. Here's Evans. Collins, I should say.
McAleer's all over him right now. Not giving him any shot.
All defensive team for a reason, Cheese.
Bell gets it to Manny Flores, who's in the game for the first time tonight. And here's Anthony Thompson working on Henry Poley, using that pump fake and getting the end one to go down. And speak of the devil.
Melzer not happy about that foul. He's going to send Leo in there, Leo Magnus in there, I think, for Poley.
Might be a better matchup against Anthony Thompson. I mean, Poley's got the size, but
Magnus more athletic.
Good point. And there's that pump fake again on the reverse lay-in. The 6'4" senior big man, I should say. And this is the free throw, and Gibbons
almost lost
will
it there.
poke it out. Almost lost it. Leo Magnus picks it up. Sechin, corner 3 is too strong. And Colin Russo is going to get called for the over the back, and he disagrees.
Yeah, I don't know about that one there. Might have been a little bit of pushing, but I didn't really see a clear foul. That's going to send him for the 1-and-1.
Manny Flores will now shoot the 1-and-1.
And Flores, the undersized 5'5" senior guard, for his first foul shot of the night. 4:34 left in the second quarter. New Canaan trailing 2 to the 20-seed Bloomfield. And Flores on the 1-and-1 misses. They're going to call it a jump ball as Anthony Thompson went up for it. But they're going to reward possession to New Canaan. McAleer being pressed a little bit by Mike Collins. but not by anybody else on his Bloomfield roster. Give and go to Gibbons. Getting it back to Seachin. Bloomfield giving New Canaan little breathing room on offense, and it's snatched away.
Bad pass right there by Russo.
And Mike Collins loses it. Brandon Seachin with some acrobatics gets the steal. Gibbons on the other end, and he's blocked. And a putback
Russo
from
with the
Colin
foul.
Russo.
Great play there by Russo to stay with it after that fast break. Even on the block, Russo was right there behind him.
And the block came from Jawan Thompson in exciting fashion, but then Colin Russo came in with the effort play right behind Gibbons.
And that's what you're going to get out of Colin Russo, a big effort player. He will not give up.
Game knotted back up at 20 points apiece. Here's Flores dancing, getting it to Thompson, looking for the pass, and getting it back to Flores with Colin Russo draped all over him. Resetting with a new play here, a bounce pass to Collins. Ball hits the floor, off Gibbons. McAleer up the floor to Magnus, and he puts it in with the right reverse lay-in.
Tough finish, but doing a great job of avoiding the block.
Reminds me of his days in youth football when he just went on a vert route there on the break and just flew down the floor, and McAleer just put it up for him.
I think you mean the field, Ian.
I haven't played football in a year. I'm a bit rusty. What can I say? Flores, three, no good. Airballing it on his first shot attempt of the night.
And he's going to hear that
with the rebound. McAleer in transition.
This bomb squad's not going to let Flores forget about it.
McAleer out to Seachin, and he puts it in. Magnus missing. New Canaan getting the offensive rebound.
And a nice roar from the crowd after that one. They are hyped up as New Canaan goes up by 5.
That's tied for the biggest lead of the game. And that's going to be a foul on New Canaan on the drive attempt from Mike Collins.
It's hard to gain any momentum when the crowd's jeering against you.
And especially when, you know, a tough matchup for Bloomfield. That's what you see sometimes in these states games where teams have to travel the entire state. You're not going to get much of the opposing fan support when you're an hour and a half away. At the line, Mike Collins, the 6-foot senior who's run most of the offense for Bloomfield tonight alongside Eli Hargrove. He makes his first, bringing it back to a 4-point game. Aaron Fishman checks in for Colin Russo, and Eli Hargrove and Javon Massey check in for Bloomfield. It was a 4-point game at the end. Rebound from Thompson. Another awesome offensive rebound from number 13. But Alex Gibbons gets it as he loses it.
He really is a dog on the offensive rebounds. He just drove his shoulder into Leo Magnus.
And Coach Danny Melzer is going to call a timeout. Up 4, 25-21 with just over 2 minutes left in the second quarter.
Maybe that timeout is just to draw something new up, maybe confuse this Bloomfield defense and try to get a bigger lead here as they're only up by 4.
And a big thing for New Canaan getting back in the lead was their play in transition. Got to look at that, Brendan. Show me what you see.
Well, not only are they able to get the ball in transition, they're also not letting Bloomfield get shots up on offense, which is really ruining their confidence, as well as scoring points for the Rams.
And if I'm not mistaken, it looked like Alex Gibbons was going up for the dunk on that one. That would have been exciting.
That would have been quite the accelerator for this New Canaan offense.
But it was Jawan Thompson, number 12 for Bloomfield instead. The 6'2" junior wing who had other plans. But Colin Russo was able to get the putback. Here's McAleer. Getting it to Magnus. Looking for Gibbons. And he gets it to him on the bounce pass. And it's going to be a foul on Bloomfield.
Javon Massey, the offender.
Had the tough assignment of guarding Gibbons down low, and he fouls. That's their 6th team foul. Bloomfield, that is, 1 away from the 1-and-1. Magnus floats it up to McAleer. Hargrove on him, and he nearly loses it as Hargrove goes in for the snatch. And when you reach, McAleer had the preach. He heads to the line.
New Canaan is now in the one-on-one.
With 1:48 left in the second quarter, looking to check in for Bloomfield is Kyle Barrow, the 6'1", 210-pound senior forward. And then he'll go right back to the bench, so maybe we'll see Barrow a little bit later. But checking in will be Jaden Hendricks for the first time tonight, the 5'9" senior guard, checking out Javon Massey as McAleer misses the first free throw.
Massey's had some trouble with fouls early. I believe 2 or 3 already in this game.
McAleer drills a second, re-extending the New Canaan lead to 5. Here's Hargrove. Pumping before getting it back out to Hendricks. And here's Mike Collins. Good ball movement from Bloomfield. Driving is Hargrove, spinning, trying to dish it to Thompson, and he misconnects and it heads the other way.
Right off of Thompson's hands there. He might have some butter on those.
And just as you said, Cheese, this crowd is getting right into the Butterfingers chant.
Thompson has not been much of a factor offensively tonight. That's been a big part of New Canaan's game plan, but he has snatched up plenty of offensive rebounds, which we expected heading into the game. But he couldn't control that.
And here comes the Bloomfield pressure. How's New Canaan going to respond?
Well, they get the inbound in from Fishman to McAleer.
And they're just going to isolate McAleer, just to have him take Hargrove.
Bounce pass to John Hall, who's back in the game for the first time since in the lineup early on. He goes baseline and puts it in on the smooth reverse.
McAleer is a crafty finisher around the rim, and he has the speed and the strength to separate from a lot of guards who play his position.
Yeah, smaller defenders. He really seems to be working Hargrove right now.
Collins is dancing before kicking it out, getting it to Hendricks, who pumps, drives on Gibbons, puts it up, looks for the foul and doesn't get it. Aaron Fishman on the other end. Dumping it off to McAleer. Right back to Fishman. In the John Hall. Good defense down low from Javen Foster.
A lot of contact there. Could have been a foul for Hall, but I like the call by the ref.
Foster checks out. Kyle Barrow checks in.
Bloomfield going with the small ball lineup. Their tallest player, only 6'1".
34 seconds left in the first half. New Canaan up 7, their biggest lead of the night. And that pass is deflected by Barrow on the other end. It's Collins against Gibbons.
Oh.
Gibbons denies him, but he draws the foul. Gibbons doesn't agree. And heading to the line for Bloomfield will be Mike Collins.
Now there's a crowd right now. I mean, I don't know what I saw there, but I thought that was clean.
Well, Collins did a good job of putting his body in between the ball and Gibbons, and no matter how athletic you are, you're going to hit him with the body.
And Collins has really had a good game tonight for Bloomfield all around, getting it done defensively, and he's been their focal point offensively as he drills home the first free throw to bring it back to a 6-point game. And whenever I think Mike Collins, I just think of the former New Canaan quarterback, now at Rice, spent time at TCU, and I just think of that all the time. And Collins drills both. 23.3 seconds left in the first half. So New Canaan might get one last possession if they don't turn it over. And they'll put it in the hands of their best offensive player, who's had a bit of a rough night, and Alex Gibbons. He's got a mismatch up against Shane Bell, who's a whopping 5'7", up against Gibbons, 6'3", and he nearly loses it. Magnus to Gibbons. Pulls up for the deep 3. He beats the buzzer, but it's too short. Barrow gets the steal on Fishman, and that's it. Melzer is not happy with how that possession ended.
Yeah,
a little bit of a confrontation with Ryan McElroy. Looks like he wanted him to get involved.
I don't think he liked that last shot there by Gibbons. I think that we're trying to draw something else up, maybe to get a 2-pointer.
At the end of the first half, in the D3 state playoff, New Canaan looking to repeat as state champs. But let's look at some of the rest of the contenders in the D3 bracket before we head to our halftime break. As we see, we got 17-16 seeds, St. Paul and Maloney. We also got St. Bernard, who's also in D3 this year after New Canaan beat them in D4 last year, and West Hill, the 25 seed at 26, an CIAC team that New Canaan lost to this season. You also got New London and Sheehan, the Bloomfield New Canaan game, which you're watching right now with us, Avon Bethel. And then the winner of the game tonight in this gym will play Fairfield Ludlow on the road on Wednesday at 6:30. If New Canaan wins tonight, we will be streaming that game. And then looking at the top of the bracket, we got Tolland, the 1 seed, which Bloomfield nearly beat earlier this year in a 68-69 thriller. So at the end of the first half, we'll be back in about 8 minutes. New Canaan with a 5-point lead over the Bloomfield Warhawks. To follow us on NCTV 78 YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And make sure to tune in for the second half of this game. I'm Ian Nicholas, joined by Brendan Tiscornia, Matthew Ronsky, and the rest of the NCTV crew. Live from the New Canaan High School gym. We'll see you in the second half. Hello, everybody. I'm Ian Nicholas, joined by Brendan Siscornia, Matt Ronsky, and the rest of the NCTV crew live from the New Canaan High School gym in the second half of this D3 Connecticut state playoff game. I'm having a hard time saying that tonight. Regardless, New Canaan up 28-23, and before we get back to the action, we'd like to get you maybe a look at the bracket, see how some of the other teams from Division III are doing. Well, we'll get that to you maybe when we get another break here from the action. Here's Hargrove getting it to Massey. Massey driving on Christian Sweeney, who had some early foul trouble, and is back in the game for New Canaan. Hargrove, deep three, and he misses off the front iron. Mike Collins gets the wide open look. Bloomfield's leading scorer tonight misses, and missing an easy putback attempt was Kyle Barrow. And it will stay in Bloomfield possession.
Now, this is looking like a really big problem here for New Canaan. If they can't offensive rebound against this team, this game could quickly turn away from them.
Well, they haven't really been able to offensively rebound all night. Bloomfield's held that advantage. And New Canaan holds just a 5-point halftime lead to show for it, make it a 3-point lead now after that crisp jumper from Mike Collins.
And they gave Bloomfield 3 or 4 extra possessions after those misses. That's really going to be a killer.
McAleer gets the screen from Magnus, now working on Hargrove. Looking to get him more involved offensively in the second half after he led the team scoring-wise in the first half with 6. Here's Magnus. Getting inside, dishing it out to McAleer, finding a wide-open Christian Sweeney for 3, and after making the first Rams bucket of the game from beyond the arc, he airballs that one.
Certainly not the way you want to start this half for the Rams. A mess defensively and an air ball on the offensive end.
Here's Hargrove working on Magnus, getting to his right, forced to take a bad shot with a couple men in his face. And another offensive rebound for Bloomfield. John Hall is going to foul Javon Massey.
And you see Melzer with his arms up right now, just saying, what is going on? Why can we not box them out right now?
And there's really nothing more than that, is there, Matthew? Just boxing out.
If you're, I say, if you're a good, hard boxing out team, it's very hard. It's very hard to play against.
New Canaan definitely has the height advantage, but they've just been out hustled by Bloomfield on the boards.
I mean, a player that out hustles, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you're a good hustler, you're gonna be able to. You're going to be able to do stuff in this game.
Through traffic, Eli Hargrove hits the deck and misses. Good move from Gibbons, and he brings it down.
Good morning, Bloomfield.
Oh, are you joking me?
I'm not.
That one's going on ESPN Top 10, folks.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Showing a little bit of that New Canaan athleticism off after getting blocked earlier on in the game by Jawine Thompson on a fast break slam. Alex Gibbons decides to bring out the hops. And he gets fouled, too.
After that first one, he went up and got blocked, but I guess
absolute baptism by Gibbons there.
All right. It's only 2 points. Fouled on the other end is actually going to be Mike Collins, who is going to
trample Brian McAleer
get the offensive foul. The charge, I should say, on Mike Collins for Bloomfield. Talk about a momentum play. It might be a 5-point game still, but the whole crowd was rocking on that one.
Well, the dunk.
And hopefully that brings it back up after missing all those threes in the first half. Hopefully that's his momentum booster in the second half to get him going.
Yeah, well, the dunk was a wake-up call. It was a poor start to the half for the Rams. And that woke the crowd up, and on the opposite end, McAleer was able to draw the charge.
Here's McAleer getting it to Magnus. To Sweeney, who jabs, drives, gets it open. Gibbons, 3. No good. He's struggled from beyond the arc tonight. He's made just 1 of his numerous attempts. On the other end, it's Massey, hesitating, chucking it up and getting fouled by Christian Sweeney. Now let's get a second look in a moment at that Alex Gibbons jam. You know, for a guy who scores a heck of a lot of points, guys, he doesn't make a lot of plays like that. And it looks like the foul underneath was on Kyle Barrow, 23, who gets.
You know what, Ian? That reminds me of you. You have those hops on, bud.
I don't know about that, cheese. Looks like a bit of a miscommunication between the ref as he'll go over to our PA man, Bill Brown, and statistician.
I believe they're arguing if he was shooting or on the floor.
It was Javon Massey, I believe, who was in the act of shooting on the fast break and was fouled by Christian. And it looks like Eli Hargrove heading to, I thought he was going inbound, but actually he's talking to his parents. So they're still trying to figure it out here. And it's going to be a foul on Sweeney, a shooting foul, that is. So Massey will head to the line for 2.
Now, folks, I want you to watch how Anthony Thompson crashes the boards here. He'll just drive his shoulder right into John Hall. That's been causing trouble all night long.
Actually, Hall gets the upper hand on that one, even though it was a make from Massey. And it looks like Bloomfield pressing out the press as Magnus gets it off the inbound. But Thompson has been a force all night on the boards for Bloomfield. McAleer on the give and go from Hall. Working on Barrow. And it's going to be on New Canaan.
He actually stepped out of bounds. That's the
out
call.
Of bounds.
Danny Melzer screaming for a push. The crowd voicing their opinions.
Not very nicely.
Here's Collins. Dancing with McAleer. Picks up his dribble, gets it out to Hargrove.
And they're trying to set a
Hargrove slashing left, pulling up, putting it in.
They were trying to set a little elevator screen there for Hargrove, and they couldn't get through. And that's why they wanted the offensive foul, because they thought he was just holding him.
After that Gibbons dunk, it's a 4-0 Bloomfield run. Small run, but still, they haven't let that dunk phase them. Back to a 1-point game, and it's going to be a foul defensively on Eli Hargrove as he went over the top on Alex Gibbons down low, trying to catch that pass.
He was on his back. I don't know what he's complaining for.
That was a little obvious. With 4:39 left in the third quarter. New Canaan up just 1. Gibbons pump fakes, pulls up with a man in his face from the mid-range, and another miss from VLF CIAC selection. Back out to Magnus off the New Canaan rebound, and it's blocked inside by Barrow. On the other end, it's Mike Collins looking to go all the way. And it's going to be a charge. And Bloomfield can't believe it. Gibbons set it up well. Let's get a second look. See what happened. Gibbons set his feet.
But you love it when your best player doesn't get a sense of superstar syndrome. He doesn't feel like he's above taking a charge.
I mean, never an ounce of, that kind of attitude with Alex Gibbons. He's willing to do anything offensively, defensively for his team.
Yeah, I agree with the refs on that call. I mean, he obviously set his feet.
Gibbons 3 in. Wide open. Just can't leave him open even though he's having a rough night.
Well, if you're Alex Gibbons, you got to keep shooting shots because if you don't shoot, it's not going to go in.
Yeah, Brendan, that's what I love about Alex Gibbons. He does not seem to be giving up. Even after missing all these shots, he still wants to shoot it. He still wants to get this win.
Massey in the corner, looking to get it down low to Barrow. Barrow puts up the hook shot and tries to put it back in. Saves it for a moment after a pair of misses from him. And that's just a lot of turnover there. Gibbons tried to force it to McAleer on the break, and instead it's a steal for Collins. Pulling up mid-range shot is no good, but he will draw the foul and head to the line.
That's not a smart foul if you're New Canaan. You're willing to let Collins shoot a mid-range if he wants.
It's going to be on Leo Magnus, his second of the night for number 20, the junior 6'6" wing.
It was a good look there from Gibbons. He just didn't hit him in time. Out there right before he gets passed through.
Collins gets the first one to go.
Shane Bell to check in for Hargrove.
Bell made a 3 earlier in this one, hasn't done much else, even though they have matched him up against Gibbons from time to time. looking to bring it back to a 2-point game and make both his shots from the lines, and Collins does. This one looks like it could be going down to the wire. The largest lead of this game, 7 points for New Canaan. 2. Here's Magnus to Sweeney. McAleer goes baseline, and it's denied by Barrow. Excellent block, but it will be out of bounds on Bloomfield.
McAleer thought he had him there, had the defender on his back, but Massey just came in out of nowhere and swatted him.
Barrow's only 6'1", but he's showcasing the hops there defensively.
Gibbons in the post, working on Bell. Fadeaway in, fundamentals at its finest, getting that one to go. And Coach Melzer will call a timeout after that make for his team.
And that was just sheer force right there from Gibbons, just getting into the defender, taking sort of a Kobe fadeaway jump shot right there.
Well, Gibbons has a solid 8 inches on Shane Bell, so he's not able to get an adequate shot contest on defense.
And let's pull up the bracket for the D3 state playoff games right now. A good battle between St. Paul and Mahoney. 38-30 lead. They're all in the middle of the action. None of these scores are final. West Hill, the 25th seed, has a 9-point lead over St. Bernard, the 8th seed. And I'll give you credit there, Brendan. You did predict West Hill would win that one. New London is getting smoked right now by 9 seed Sheehan by 23 points. And that's all we have for you at the moment. But yeah, West Hill's a pretty good team, even though they weren't the best of FCIAC teams this year.
Well, they're not the most consistent, but when they get going, they're a very good team, and they're winning tonight against a good St. Bernard's team.
And New Canaan beat St. Bernard in the D4 playoff last year and blocked down low. John Hall with the swat, then called for the foul, and Barrow gets the and 1 to go on his second chance down low. And as you mentioned, Brendan, you know, Barrow, not the biggest guy, but he plays physical, and he's a really good athlete down low.
And, you know, going up against a very tall John Hall right there, and honestly just using his power and strength to just body up John Hall. Even though he was blocked, he still got his rebound and got it back in. Great play right there.
Aaron Fishman checks into the game for the first substitution of the half for the Rams, contrary to their constant substitutions in the first half.
Barrow banks in his and 1 free throw. Right back to a 1-point game with 2:46 left in the third quarter. McAleer hesitating on Bell, putting it up and putting it in through traffic. The senior captain has stepped up in a big way offensively tonight, and he continues to pour on the points. Here's Collins.
You know, McAleer's ability to get defenders on his back quickly is just very remarkable.
Thompson pump fakes and draws the foul on Leo Magnus.
But he can't. Magnus too eager to leave his feet there. And Thompson able to draw the foul.
And Magnus isn't going to check out, but assistant coach Zach Smith, who was an awesome player in his time as a collegiate player, giving Magnus a little bit of advice. Big man to big man.
Now you're in a little bit of a sticky situation if you're the Rams. 5 fouls and the third quarter's not even over.
Anthony Thompson drills the first free throw. One of the best rebounders New Canaan has seen all season. He's put in an excellent effort, and now he's finally starting to get a bit warm offensively. Looking to make 2 of 2 from the line, and he won't, as that one hits the back of the iron, but another offensive rebound for Thompson. And on the flashy lane, he can't get it to go. Christian Sweeney on the other end, and with pure power and speed, he puts it in. 4-point lead for New Canaan. Pull-up jumper from Collins, he puts it in.
What I like about Bloomfield is they're able to forget what happens defensively, and
both teams right now really seem to. Oh, and
Massey picking up the steal from Collins, taking it all the way, and McAleer gets the denial. No foul, but it's out of bounds on New Canaan.
And like I was going to say, I really like how both these teams are really starting to speed up their offenses. You can see Bloomfield is really trying to get the ball down the floor on that last possession. And New Canaan has always been a very fast offense right now.
Anthony Thompson lobs it up, and McAleer nearly Odell Beckham's it, but he just couldn't corral it.
It's not often you see your point guard showing that kind of
Well, he's one of the best defensive players
Rim
in the CIAC for a
protection.
reason. Let's get a second look at that swat there from McAleer. There's Massey, and bam, with the right hand. Bringing it back to the floor here, it's Collins. Collins' step back three is not close, but Bell just chucks it up in traffic. It's a jump ball. Christian Sweeney fighting down low with the very good, very talented Anthony Thompson.
It's going to be New Canaan's possession. Bloomfield got the ball at half.
Christian Sweeney turning it up a notch there, trying to rip it away from the very good rebounding Anthony Thompson. And he does. 1:30 left in the third quarter. Still just a 2-point game. Fishman to Sweeney. Losing the ball. Barrow gets the steal, but he can't stay in bounds. So it's still New Canaan ball. 39-37. It's been really back and forth game the entirety of the quarter. A 5-point New Canaan lead at the half. McAleer, the ball is loose. Another steal.
And he thought he got fouled
for
there.
Mike Collins, but nothing is called. Massey on the other end, lasering it, cross court. Three is no good from Shane Bell, but another offensive rebound for Bloomfield. And another bucket for number 2. Mike Collins continues to rack it on. Just under a minute left in the third. It's a tied game at 39 apiece. McAleer, nice move, corner to Leo Magnus. He'll drive and get denied. Ball is on the ground. It's a jump ball as Magnus and Thompson are fighting for it down low. Brandon Seachin will check in for New Canaan.
In a game where they don't have many fans at all, this Bloomfield bench is becoming a factor. I believe they're getting in the heads of the Rams.
Coach Magnus talking, Coach Melzer talking with Leo Magnus on the bench. His very talented junior, who'll be a fundamental piece of their squad next season. But he's had his lumps in the third quarter so far. Bloomfield slowing it down with 24 seconds left. No shot clock in Connecticut, so they can take their time. Massey nearly went over and back. Here's Collins keeping it in. Putting it up is Barrow. Barrow will get fouled.
I believe that should have been a travel. He clearly poor footwork, and he just jumped, turned around, and got a lucky call.
Coach Melzer would agree with you too there. But regardless, Barrow, Kyle Barrow, number 23, will head back to the line.
New Canaan now one foul away from entering the bonus.
And Bloomfield has a chance to retake the lead for the first time since the second quarter. They won't on that one, but he'll get one more shot as John Hall will check into the game for Christian Sweeney. We haven't seen a lot of either John Hall or Hank Poley tonight, especially Poley.
You figure against a smaller lineup like Bloomfield, you'd put in your bigs, but that's not what we've seen here tonight.
Barrow misses both shots from the line. John Hall rebound, 12 seconds left. Gibbons spinning, posting up, getting it to McAleer, slicing, dicing, and he can't put it in. Good defense from Barrow, 2 seconds left. Getting it up to Massey, and he will beat the buzzer, but he can't put it in as it rims out. And that's the end of 3 quarters here from the New Canaan High School gym, and everyone is on the edge of their seat, waiting for the next move. We are tied at 39 points a pop.
Terrific defensive quarter if you're Bloomfield. Limiting the Rams to only 1 3-pointer in the entire quarter.
Yeah, you know, honestly, this could be the momentum booster here for Bloomfield. After those couple possessions they had at the end of this quarter, and they seem to have gone on a little bit of a run. And I mean, if New Canaan can't seem to do anything right now either. So if New Canaan can't make a move right now, this could go bad.
And Matthew, talk about a game that we'll talk about him in a second. Mike Collins has had a fantastic game for the Warhawks, but let's take a second look at that D3 bracket. E.O. Smith, who the girls basketball team in New Canaan lost to in the state tournament. E.O. Smith is up against Stonington right now. That's the final. In that one, St. Joe's up 62-48 up against Seymour. St. Joe's, an FCIAC team that New Canaan also beat in the D4 bracket last year, and they've moved up to D3 this year. Conard up against Plainfield. Shelton up against Wilcox Tech. And Ledyard up against Stratford. Started a fourth quarter here. Tied up at 39 apiece. Winner advances to the second round of a D3 bracket to play Fairfield Ludlow on the road, who had a first round bye. A foul down low. Alex Gibbons is fouled by Bloomfield's number 3. Actually, it's going to be on Eli Hargrove. Actually, we're going to call
not in the game.
On Shane Bell. Gibbons gets it to Fishman, getting it to McAleer, getting it to Seachin, swinging it all around, and it will pay off. Gibbons, corner 3. I believe his third triple of the night. Driving. Collins airballing it. Surprising for him because he's had a really great night inside.
Fishman almost lost it there.
But he picks it back up. Looking for McAleer, who was open off a cut, but Fishman didn't see him. To Seachin. Back to the captain, McAleer, who posts up, giving an opportunity for Gibbons to get open on his signature mid-range shot. Good setup there, but Gibbons couldn't finish. He's struggling tonight. I mean, he's had his moments, obviously, with the dunk, the threes here and there. And you see that left wrap on his finger. You think it might be the pinky, but he's been playing with that broken pinky for a while, and he's been playing well through it, so it's not that either. Here's Massey dumping it down low. Good pass to Barrow and an and one finish for number 23, who has had an awesome second half for Bloomfield.
He's a bulldog for the Warhawks. Despite his size, he's a very strong kid. He's able to get to the rim, and he's able to contest with the bigger forwards and centers to get rebounds.
Well, he might only be 6'1", which is still pretty tall, but he's 210 pounds. He's the heaviest player on this Bloomfield roster. As he misses the free throw, he's very well built, and he's playing like it down low, like a bulldog.
And not an ounce of fat either.
Not at all. Gibbons getting it to Fishman with 6:40 left in the fourth quarter. New Canaan leads by 1. Seachin has been quiet tonight. Deep 3, though. Can he change that? No. I believe he's made just 1 3.
Not the best shot there from Seachin. He just pulled it out, saw an open deeper 3, and he just took it.
Speaking of deep 3s, Massey from beyond the arc. No good for Javon Massey. McAleer walking it up. Taking it left, dumping it off to Fishman. John Hall to Seachin. Back to Gibbons, open for 3, and he buries it as he's starting to find his momentum in the second half.
You know, you just can't give him those open looks. If I'm Bloomfield right now, I'm honestly going to face guard Gibbons on those behind the 3-point line.
Bloomfield, an out-of-conference opponent, must not know the lure of what Alex Gibbons has brought to New Canaan shooting-wise this year into the entire FCIAC. It's given him nightmares, and tonight he's starting to finally wake up and show him.
Well, believe it or not, he was a guy who came to the high school as a pure big man. He had to adapt his game as a high school and turn into a shooter who can stretch the floor, and he's done a terrific job of that.
And next year he'll head to Carleton, a D3 school in Minnesota, to pursue or to continue his basketball career. At the line, Javon Massey, the 6'5", 205 junior forward. Sophomore forward, that is. He makes his first free throw to bring it back to a 3-point game. And what does Bloomfield need to do down the stretch to somewhat take the lead? They've been hanging in this game for a long time, but what do they need to do to get over the top?
You know,
well, they've got to contain Gibbons' 3-point shooting ability.
Yeah, no, and I was going to say that, but also they honestly, all they have to do is just stick with these offensive rebounds. If they can get one, 2, 3 more possessions on after every missed shot, they can really pull away in this game.
And Sheehan getting a win of a D3 tournament over New London.
Pretty easily.
Here's Gibbons spinning around Massey, but he couldn't find the shot. Looking for the foul is Coach Melzer, but they won't find it, as he says, that Gibbons was slapped, but the refs did not see it, and it will head the other way for Bloomfield. Collins walking it up, the star scorer tonight for the Warhawks. And on a side note, I know it's a close game right now, but I just love that name, the Warhawks. Anyway, dumping at the bell. Fishman getting the steal. Can he keep it in control? No. Massey getting it. Up and under, no good. Fighting for the board. Another rebound from Barrow.
And these are these offensive rebounds I'm talking about, guys. These could be the killer here.
It's been Barrow and Thompson all night who are getting it done, giving Bloomfield second chance opportunity after second chance opportunity, but they're losing their touch here. They're just chucking it up. Both Thompson and Barrow can't get anything to go.
Still, what was that? Three extra possessions there for Bloomfield. This is getting absurd. Box someone out.
Now Anthony Thompson's going to shoot the 1-1 as Leo Magnus checks in for Jonathan Hall.
And they're going to go a bit small ball here with Fishman, Gibbons, McAleer, Sweeney, and Magnus. Colin Russo is also going to check into the game.
And you hear the roar from the crowd, don't you, Ian?
The fan favorite, obviously, but a great player. And here's Anthony Thompson, the 6'4" center, the senior, number 13, who has had, as we've mentioned throughout the game, an awesome night. And you see it in the wingspan, too. You know, he's just the longest player on the floor right now, making it a lot easier to snatch up those boards and head to the line. Gets the first one to go. New Canaan has 9 team fouls, so they're 1 away from the double bonus. Meanwhile, Bloomfield is 1 away from the 1-1 with 6. Thompson has a chance to bring it back to a 1-point game with 4:35 left in the fourth quarter. And he drills both. He's an excellent free throw shooter. McAleer walking it up. Getting it to Magnus. Down low to Gibbons. Gibbons gets fouled. Even though Massey says that he was vertical, they will call it on Javon Massey.
Fouls on J.J. Massey, his third, 17. Alex Gibbons, 2 shots for the Rams.
Gibbons will head to the line for 2.
That's Massey's 3rd foul, but if you're Bloomfield, you need him in the game right now.
He's had a pretty strong second half all around, offensively and defensively. And Gibbons obviously needs no introduction. The 6'3" senior drilling both
and Gibbons
from the line.
An excellent free throw shooter. As we see, he has not missed one tonight.
New Canaan now has a little bit of breathing room thanks to him. A block from New Canaan. Putting it up, though, is Barrow. Barrow is going to get called for the over the back on that one, though. The rebounding a little bit too good to be true. Using all of that 210-pound frame.
He's going up and over Leo Magnus right there.
Colin Russo will shoot the 1-1, I believe. Oh, no, Leo Magnus will.
You know, when I got to the gym here at 5 o'clock today, it was 2 guys who were on the floor getting those shots up the first. It was McAleer, who's had a great game, and really those warm-ups are helping him. And the second was Russo. And you know, give him credit all year. He's been putting in the work, and it's shown because he's playing in the biggest moment of the Rams season right now. And that ball.
We're going to call a push on Anthony Thompson, I believe.
Turned into a tackling match after the missed free throw.
Yeah.
And, yep, Magnus will head right back to the line. He grasps that left knee. Looks like a little bit of discomfort or that left calf as he got laid out. Now both teams up to 9 team fouls, as Bloomfield's picked up 3 fouls in a hurry with 4:07 left in the fourth quarter. Magnus, the 6'5" junior, gets the first one to go. You know, if New Canaan is able to extend their season, it would be great. Obviously, Coach Melzer here in his 4th year at the high school, which means But the senior class of Alex Gibbons, Ryan McAleer, and the rest of the crew will be leaving after this year and graduating to college. And that's his first senior class, and he said it would be special if he could continue their season after tonight with his senior class, his first class in New Canaan.
Those are two big shots if you're Leo Magnus. He's had a quiet second half, and hopefully that can boost his confidence.
Here's Hargrove working on McAleer. Bit of an ISO look here. Dumping it off to an open Mike Collins for three, and he can't get it to go.
They're going to call it on Magnus.
It's going to be called on Leo Magnus.
And now Bloomfield is in the double bonus, so Barrow will be shooting 2 free throws no matter what.
And it looks like Melzer, again, is going to keep his young buck in the game. Well, not young buck, but young star in a sense, even though he's dealing with some foul trouble.
And you see the matchup between Magnus and
Barrow.
I believe you mean Kyle Barrow.
Oh, Kyle Barrow, yeah. You really see the matchup there. Even though Leo Magnus has the height on him, it's all about sheer force right now, and he's obviously the stronger player.
And Magnus will check out. John Hall's going to check in and try to eliminate that offensive rebounding ability of Anthony Thompson. Barrow gets it to go.
Barrow's second one.
Still a 4-point game. Fishman with it. Coach Melzer was expecting a lot from his senior guard tonight. Russo spots up for three, puts it in.
And that is a clutch shot right there. As McAleer
going to get another bucket.
When the lights shine brightest, seeing the stars come out to play.
Colin Russo.
I cannot hear what's going on right now, boys, but great turn of events right there for New Canaan.
So New Canaan got the inbound steal, or I should say Ryan McAleer single-handedly got it, got the bucket. It is somewhat of a desperation
Hargrove,
rough shot from
the
Hargrove
three.
On the other end. Gibbons, too.
New Canaan actually has 54 points. The graphic is wrong. They missed the layup from McAleer.
Well, the graphic isn't wrong. It's actually hardwired to the scoreboard. But the thing is, that bucket happened so fast, I don't think anyone really, including myself, really saw it coming.
And now Melzer's
working over it with
talking to Mr. Brown about the true score of the game.
So it's going to be up to a 9-point game. What a turn of events. For the first time really all night, someone has snatched the momentum.
And you know who it was? The guy who's not getting that many minutes, Colin Russo. You know, they put him in for a nice confidence booster, and he knocks down a clutch three-pointer.
And, you know, we talk about these guys who aren't only spark plugs but loved by the community. And I've said it again, time and time again. You know, Colin Russo was the second guy in here in this game in pregame warm-ups, just getting up shots. He's a great guy. Everyone loves him. Everyone loves when he checks into the game. But he's more than just, you know, I guess a victory cigar. He is a key player for this team who does a lot. And you see makes a lot of big shots.
You see McAleer there after the whole all the hype. I feel Bloomfield was a little caught off guard, and McAleer just scooped in there and stole the ball and scored.
Look at that. Everyone's over there. No one's looking. Look at there's Gibbons. There's Hall. No one knew he scored. I bet you if you ask all 4 of his teammates on the floor if he scored, I bet you half of them wouldn't even know he scored. That's insane. Ryan McAleer, to his credit, is having a great night in a bit of an off season. And if you like what you see from New Canaan in NCTV 78, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and obviously our YouTube channel for more New Canaan athletics, New Canaan news. And if New Canaan is able to pull out the victory tonight with just under 3 minutes left in this game and a 9-point lead, then we will be live streaming in coordination, hopefully, with Falcon Sports Network, the New Canaan-Fairfield-Ludlow playoff game. But Bloomfield, still plenty of time to get right back in it with Barrow at the line, but he's been inconsistent tonight, and he misses. A bit of an unorthodox release. Kind of just flings it up there.
I agree with you, Ian, right there.
His shot's definitely a little bit flat. There's not a lot of arc on it.
He misses both. 2 critical misses.
And Melzer just telling him to slow down. As Fishman wanted to shoot that one.
But he doesn't. Probably pretty smart. Because if he missed, he would have gotten a lot of Coach Melzer. Fishman drives, kicks to McAleer, goes baseline. Russo cutting, Fishman open three's a little strong.
Great ball movement there by New Canaan, though.
And it looks like John Hall and Anthony Thompson got a bit knotted up. And it looks like they're going to call it
A double foul.
a double foul. The definition of knotted up.
Double foul. First foul is on Bloomfield for 13. Anthony Thompson, his fourth.
So there will be no shots, I don't think, and Bloomfield will retain possession of the ball.
So offsetting, in a sense.
And you can see right here on the replay.
Exactly.
Great ball movement there from New Canaan. If Aaron Fishman could have knocked that shot in, that would have been a great trail of offense right there.
Fishman is a solid shooter, too.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't shoot the most threes, he does make them a good chunk of the time. To preserve time, Mike Collins is going to let the ball roll. And it looks like an issue with the clock.
Yeah, they let the ball roll, which means the clock does not start.
Yep.
But the scoreboard had the clock running.
But it looks like it might have hit his hip, as the ref might be indicating. The hip of Mike Collins, the star Bloomfield Warhawk, who's had a great game. And the ref, Coach Kevin Moses, they will inbound from half court. Guess that's the negotiation with 2:27 left on the clock. New Canaan looking to get its second straight season with a state playoff win and hold off Bloomfield.
And you see,
Deep three from Collins.
No good.
No good.
and you can really see the fast play right now from Bloomfield, trying to get a three in, trying to get more momentum on their side. And then they just can't seem to buy a bucket right now.
Collins has had a great game, but that's not the shot you want if you're a Bloomfield fan.
Russo with a full head of steam misses on the contested lay-in. Three attempt.
No good.
No good from Hargrove, but the offensive board from Collins. And Collins just fighting inside, and it's going to be John Hall who's called for the foul.
I don't know about that call right there. He had his both feet set, he had his arms up, and I don't know if that was really a foul. He kind of just ran into him there.
Well, regardless, with both teams in the double bonus, and it is a shooting foul, Collins will head to the line. And a bit of another D3 update. Law High School getting the win over North Haven. With 1:43 left from the New Canaan High School gym, the NCTV crew, Ian Nicholas, joined by Brendan Tiscornia and my good man, Matt Ronsky. New Canaan, for the first time really all game from either side, has snatched momentum. With no lead bigger than 7 before this, they now lead by 9. But some big foul shots here from the line.
Collins is a very good shooter, so I wouldn't be surprised if he knocks them both down.
And you jinxed him, Brendan, as he's a bit short on that first one. But he has been great from the line tonight. Second shot to make it an 8-point game is good.
And here comes the Bloomfield press. I'll see how New Canaan reacts to this. Usually they try to give Ryan McAleer the ball and have him ISO, but that doesn't seem to be happening right now.
They put it in the hands of Aaron Fishman
there you
before
go.
getting it to McAleer. The court general. To Magnus. Here's Fishman locked up by Hargrove. McAleer splitting 2 defenders. And through heavy
Unable to
traffic,
finish.
can't get it to go. Nearly runs into cameraman Pablo Villa over there. Deep three from Hargrove. He puts it in. As Bloomfield has life again. Back to a 5-point game. Shot made by Eli Hargrove. The 6'2" senior. Fishman getting it to Russo. To McAleer. Just under a minute left, and a foul is called on Bloomfield. It will be on Hargrove.
And we've seen Ryan McAleer he missed both the free throw shots he took earlier, so maybe they're trying to foul him right now.
McAleer has been a streaky shooter from the line this season. But tonight, even though he's missed some shots from the line, he's had a great offensive showing. but he does miss the first one. It's a bit strong off the back of the iron. Christian Sweeney will check into the game. Out is Colin Russo.
New Canaan really just needed to hold the ball right there on that last possession, but a take that really should not have happened as Mackler misses both.
Thompson gets the rebound. They push it up to Massey. Here's Hargrove, fresh off his three. He puts up another deep three.
Not
No
even
good.
close.
Thompson is going to get fouled down low, though. So hold on, folks. Thompson will head to the line for 2.
It's an obvious call if you're the referee there. He's clearly hacking there.
McAleer is 1 away from fouling out, which would be a massive blow for New Canaan, obviously, if they want to preserve the lead.
Well,
Thompson with the 2 biggest free throws, quite possibly, of his varsity career on the line. And he makes the first, bringing it back to a 4-point game. Weird also got a win over Stratford, another D3 game, letting you know. Second shot from Thompson, also good. He's been excellent from the line tonight. Neither coach will call a timeout. It's a 1-possession game. 54-51 New Canaan. The press for Bloomfield is active. And Coach Melzer will call a timeout with 44.5 seconds left on the clock. If I'm Bloomfield, wouldn't you just foul McAleer again?
You know, you're right,
Well,
Ian.
there's a lot of time left, and if he does hit one of those free throws, it makes the game a 2-possession game, which is certainly harder to come back from.
And, you know, Matt, I'll kick it to you here. Obviously, everyone in this community loves Ryan McAleer, and his basketball team loves him too. But, you know, do you have that confidence in him? Because he's been here before, he's done that, but he's just hasn't been the best from the line tonight. But if he does get fouled as a player, do you still have that confidence in him because you know what kind of athlete and leader he is?
You know, he's as a senior captain, I've seen him in the locker room very much, and he's a very good leader. And honestly, I wouldn't want anyone else taking those 2 free throw shots. Though he's been streaky tonight, I feel like if I want anyone else on the court, if I was gonna have anyone on the court shooting those free throws, he would be the one shooting them right now.
Well, he is the best ball handler on the team, and he's certainly the guy you want to get it into in this situation.
Speaking of CIAC opponents, St. Joe's getting the win over Seymour. They will advance to the second round of a 20 in D3.
He just got all he has to have is confidence right now.
So McAleer is going to inbound it. Bloomfield in the full press. They draw off the pass play to Christian Sweeney in a clutch bucket from number 12. No foul.
The receiver.
The receiver.
That might have been a route. That was a wheel route right there, Ian.
Star receiver for the football team gets it to go on the lay-in. Deep 3 from Bell. No
Air ball.
good. And Thompson is going to not get the offensive rebound. He tried to chuck it off of Christian Sweeney, and they said he was out of bounds before he chucked it off him.
Well, that's definitely an unorthodox inbounds play, and it confused the Warhawks there.
Maybe Coach Melzer was watching not just Bloomfield tape this week, but New Canaan football tape to draw up that one. It worked really well, as no one saw it coming.
It looks like Gibbons was fouled right there by Shane Bell, so he's going to go to the free throw line. Not the guy you want to send to the free throw line right now, I'll tell you guys.
Not at all. An up and down night, but a really good second half for Alex Gibbons scoring-wise. As Coach Melzer looking to secure his 7th career state playoff win as a head coach. Still a 2-possession game. Gibbons missing the first. 5-point lead for New Canaan with 26 ticks left in regulation. Gibbons drills the second. Bloomfield will not call a timeout.
Still a 2-possession game here. I'll see what they do. They're probably going to try to check up a 3.
And they will chuck it up. Collins 3, close, but no cigar. Leo Magnus is fouled by Javon Massey.
And that could have been the dagger right there for Bloomfield. That missed 3 might have just secured the win for New Canaan.
It's all going to come down to Leo Magnus if he can make it a 3-possession game here. He would only need to make 1 of 2 from the line.
Well, if you're New Canaan, you want to let them shoot those deep threes, let them shoot the shots that they have to take, because you don't want to lose a star player to foul trouble late in this game, just in the small case that it goes into overtime.
And it's now a 3-possession game right now.
Magnus drilling it from the line with confidence for the junior. One more would make it an 8-point lead, and he does it. Pretty much of a nail in the coffin. With 15.6 seconds left, they get it in to Collins. Collins losing it. Leo Magnus with the steal, and that is what's going to end your game. 4 seconds left. Dishing it off to Magnus.
Magnus wanted to dunk that one.
Shot.
He wanted to dunk
Tisch
that
was
one.
about to lose it on him if he shot that, but he doesn't. And that's a win for the New Canaan Rams over the Bloomfield Warhawks, who came down from an hour and a half down the state, and they put up one heck of a fight. They had a lead at a couple times in this game. We're going to turn it back to us here in the stands. I'm Ian Nicholas, joined by, obviously, Brendan Tiscornia and Matt Ronsky, my 2 JV basketball players. And, guys, what a win it was. Bloomfield put up a great effort, but in the end, it's New Canaan who escaped with a 59-51 win, and they will head next Wednesday on the road to Fairfield Ward, where they will play the Fairfield Ludlow Falcons. But before we get to that game, let's talk about this one. Brendan, your biggest takeaway from the Rams?
Well, it was a hard-fought victory. Not everything went the way they wanted it to, but they were able to finally get some defensive rebounds and some one-and-done possessions on the defensive end. Once they were able to stop Bloomfield from getting put back in second-effort points, they were able to pull away in this game.
And I'll kick it to you, Matt, and maybe talk a little bit about Bloomfield. Obviously, they did an epic job offensive rebound-wise. You know, you had guys like Anthony Thompson and Kyle Barrow who did a great job there. But speak a little bit to Mike Collins, number 2, who had an awesome game for them offensively.
You know, Mike Collins, he's a senior, so this is probably his final game. And, you know, he had a heck of a game. He fought till the end. He was honestly one of the only bright spots in this on the Bloomfield team. But you know, like you said, great offensive rebounding by Bloomfield the whole game. They much more athletic than New Canaan, but the discipline of New Canaan really got them the win tonight.
Coach Melzer, now 7-3 in state tournament play, looking to get back to Mohegan Sun in the second straight state championship run. But the question is, the Fairfield Ludlow Falcons are next. The 4 seed who got a bye, will they get the win over Fairfield Ludlow? It's going to be an interesting game. NCTV is looking to pull that stream together, and hopefully we can get that to you. We'll let you know on Twitter as soon as we know we can get the A-OK for that. So the final score here from the New Canaan High School gym, 59 New Canaan, 51 Bloomfield. And once again, we would really appreciate it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Twitter or Instagram for more amazing content. All student run. Thanks, Brendan Tiscornia and Matt Ronsky, for the great commentary as always. We want to thank our producer, Cortland Parrott, our cameraman, Alex Meinzer, as well as our camera woman, Emily Fox, our advisor, Roman Sobolski, our PA man, statistician, Bill Brown, Amy Warren, and our athletic director, Jay Egan. I'm Ian Nicholas, and we'll hopefully see you Wednesday night for New Canaan versus Fairfield Ludlow.
Deuces.
Good stream, boys. Good work.